Welcome back to the show, everybody. Yeah, in February 2022, the government invoked the Emergencies Act and froze bank accounts for some of those who were involved in the Freedom Convoy, the Trucker Convoy, whatever you want to call it. Here's the crazy part, is that a list was compiled. And originally we thought that this was a small list that was isolated. But no, it turns out that this list is much bigger. It was not only made to understand who the organizers of this event were, the leaders of the event, but the list continues down and down and down. Names, addresses, businesses, all this stuff, personal information. But the scary part is that it was compiled by the RCMP. It was later distributed by an unencrypted email. No restrictions were placed on this. And then tossed around to 50 institutions, financial institutions, lobbyist groups. Ontario regulators forwarded the list to between 1,000 and 2,000 firms and brokerages, all to what? Blackball anybody who was associated with this Freedom Convoy, and Blacklock's exposed that these bank accounts that were frozen at the beginning of the Freedom Convoy that were locking people out, almost $8 million that locked out. No, that wasn't it. That was just the tip of the iceberg. This goes down much farther. So to talk about this, I want to bring in one of the best. It's the rogue lawyer, Phil Millar. What's going on, Phil?
Good morning, my friend. Living the dream.
Living the dream. But let's just get this straight. They built a blacklist of Canadians associated with the Trucker Convoy. Then they emailed it to thousands of private companies with almost no restrictions. And this is the governance and the legacy of the Trudeau and Friedland administration when it comes to the Emergencies Act. It got revoked, it got deemed unnecessary or unlawful. And now we're finding out that that wasn't even the most unlawful part. You're spreading this around for what purpose? Why are you sending the Trucker Convoy information of maybe thousands of people to the Bank of China?
Well, let's do a little deductive reasoning
Yes,
here,
sir.
because I think it's pretty clear that the Chinese government has become involved with the Liberal government.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Right? And your listeners will like this. I think what those Chinese operatives did was convince the Liberal government to send Canada's best critical thinkers, their identities, to the Chinese government. You know what I mean? It's essentially like so that China can prepare to take over. They know where to go to get the critical thinkers. It's
Just
like,
no.
what the hell are
you don't need a
doing?
list for that, Phil. You just go find a lumberjack jacket and then someone who smells like jerky. No, I'm just kidding. But it's
And,
it's
and you
it's
know where
crazy
the
when you think about
resistance
it.
will be. Yeah, you know where they know where the resistance will be when communism comes. They just shared it with everybody who's against it. It's a shame that in our society now this doesn't hit deeper. Like how bad this is. Like if this was 20 years ago, it'd be an incredible scandal. There needs to be, and I don't know if there is one, but there needs to be a massive class action going on, like to the tune of hundreds of millions against the government for this, because what we have an established breach. The courts found it was unconstitutional. We have a privacy breach, a tort of inclusion breach. So deliberate breaches by the government against citizens, right, that have been substantiated in the court. And you have damages that have yet to be discovered. So I would love to get a coalition of Canada's top lawyers to get together and bring the biggest class action ever against the Liberal government. And then let's actually dig down through discovery on what the hell happened here.
What do you think you would find? Like just in your pre-assessment of what's going on, just when you roll
My
this
God.
out.
I can tell you from my cases with the generals suing the government does everything it can to hide its communication. It redacts everything. It slow plays ATIs. They operate on BlackBerries type stuff on deliberately so that they can never have to produce documents. So the APRCHIC in the Liberal government and the people in the bureaucracies, they operate by text messages deliberately so that nothing can be produced. Like it's very, very difficult, but a case like this is just big enough that and you need an army of lawyers, not just one lawyer on a billboard, like to really get into this, but the payout, these people should be compensated. To have that sent to foreign banks, like what freaking government are we in where somebody thought that was okay and then Freeland lies to us? Like somebody's head's got to roll.
And the problem that I have with this is so many things, but the big one is that why did you do this in the first place? Obviously, because you want to show the power and authority. That it had nothing to do with actually shutting down, protests. It had everything to do with this is compliance during this situation and this is what everyone's going to do. And what we tell you, we're Big Brother. We're going to tell you, you're going to do it. But when you send this out to foreign banks, that's crazy. But when you look at the Ontario thing, right? And Ontario regulators are shooting this off to upwards of 2,000 businesses. What is someone doing with this unique individual data? What are they supposed to spot this person when they come in, go on Facebook and look for them and do a deep dive if they ever come into their place of business, insurance company or whatever?
The most nefarious thing about what the Liberal government did to the Canadian citizens by disseminating those names is it probably got a lot of them fired. It probably got a lot of them prevented from being promoted, right? Because by circulating it that way, the names are going to be cross-referenced. And the message is the government is showing you that these people are bad. And if you want to keep working with the government, you shouldn't have these people there. That's how nefarious it is. And I want to know what the minds of the people in the closed doors who decided to do this to Canadians, like who are those MFers who decided to do that to people who are exercising their rights? Because I bet you, that's why I think the class action has some damages. Because I bet you a bunch of those people lost jobs, didn't get promoted, or even had their bank accounts closed, not frozen. I bet you a lot of people I heard had bank accounts closed with no explanation after the trucker convoy, and that's what had happened.
Do you think that one, like, I know that you, like, legally that this has merit in your mind, but do you think that ever you could round up people to even pursue this, seeing how, you mean, like, even, like, look at Carney, right? Like the Emergencies Act, deem unlawful. It's 5-6 years after the actual effect, and he still was pursuing the Supreme Court to potentially overturn that ruling. Like, they really care about this moment, because I feel like in the back of the Liberal leadership mind, if we can put this down and prove that we used it or use those Emergency Act in the right way, then it will maybe further along the way. If this thing gets worse, people won't do it. People won't do it if the Supreme Court sides with us.
The arrogance of power is that rather than kind of admit you made a mistake and try to fix it, is you just double down on the bad decision. And they're going to the Supreme Court. Like, what I've seen with the Liberal government time and time again is they will just do everything they can to stop you from getting the real truth. Like, they will bring motions, they will redact, they will stop. So going to the Supreme Court, okay, I guess maybe it is a Supreme Court case, but you never know what's going to happen in there. And they would do anything to cover this up and cover their asses. And that's what's so crappy about our society at the moment, is that, and the media doesn't seem to really care about it. Like, this is a scandal of one of the biggest scandals a government could ever have. And the media doesn't care about it because it's distracted by nonsense. We need to do something big to hit the, you know what I mean? So like $1 billion class action suit that gets launched could turn the tide of, like, this is how bad they were, but we need to get this in the media through something big.
We'll even look at the branding, right? Because Emergencies Act changed, right? It used to be called War Measure Times Act, Wartime Measures Act, or whatever. You imagine if that was the branding, that they had sent out this list with thousands of people to 50 financial institutions because we had to use the War Measures Act on them. Like, it's
then forwarded it to other people, like forwarded it to thousands of other things. Like, it is. Yeah, it is disgraceful.
Well, it's like
really
that Facebook post from university that you just can't not get like, remove the tag. No one wants to see that. No, it's there forever. Phil, it's funny that we're talking about this, because let's come back, and after the break, let's switch it up, because there is a real concerted effort right now, no matter how bad the government looks, to paint Pierre Poilievre in a bad picture. And they're succeeding at it. They've tagged Pierre Poilievre so hard to this MAGA movement. Can he get out of it? Or are we looking at the wrong idea of what an outsider is? The Conservatives already have that outsider. Someone proven, someone likable, someone who's done the job at the highest capacity. And could they do it again? Have we been thinking about this all wrong? Let's come back on No BS with Brad Smith, and we're going to tell you about the person that we think might be the guy that's just out there waiting to save